That's it.
Here we go. Let's have a look here. How are we doing, guys and girls? Anyone in the chat? Let me get myself set up and running. Oh, it's been waffling away with Russ. We've lost track of time. I have no idea what I'm doing at the moment. There we go. Hi, Maz. How are we doing? Hope you're well. What's happened here? Ah. Here we go. We are on. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Was it the last show we done with Trump one? Thought it was a week after. Oh, we missed last week, didn't we?
Right, I'm here. Oh. Right. Are you ready, Mr. Paranormal?
Go, go, go.
Off. Right, haven't I? Everything wants to update at the last minute, doesn't it?
Oh, mine keeps doing it. Keeps jumping up in front of the screen.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm using the old Mac and it just won't allow me anymore. Right, you ready?
Go.
It's now time for you to sit back, bolster, and relax. Let your mind the deepest, darkest parts of your brain. Let Ross and Paul take you on a journey to the unexplained.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages. Welcome to the journey through the unexplained, live and exclusive on Pulse Talk Radio. It's the 21st of November. Welcome along, 2024. What else can I say? I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to Mr. Philip Solomon that has taken us through the last hour over on Pulse Talk Radio. Thank you ever so much to the wonderful Mr. Philip Solomon. It's a pleasure always to follow on after Mr. Solomon. I have got to welcome the new president of Journey Through the Unexplained, Mr. Paranormal Paul.
How are we doing? All good?
Mega.
It turned up. It was meant to turn up for our show and it didn't.
Well, you look good, Paul. You look good.
Like it.
You look good. You pull it off really well. Make America great again. But as I said, as we've spoke about this in sort of recent times, that what has really we've spoke about has really come to fruition over the last couple of days, hasn't it, with Mr. Biden, and sort of letting a big bag of we're opening a big can of worms, let's just say the least. I don't quite see. I don't think I like the outcome of what could come of this. Let's just say that. Because
we've followed suit as well, haven't we?
Yeah. But I'm just hoping that let's just say that everyone sees sense, and maybe what is happening is not to be done in January. Maybe someone that's just come into the office will be able to sort things out potentially, and maybe it is all sort of, just. I don't think. Let's just say I don't think Putin's this stupid. I know what he has to react and what he says has to be said, because obviously missiles are being launched into his country. But I don't think he's that stupid, and I do. If we can sit here as minions and see what Mr. Biden is doing,
yeah,
I think he's got more. Let's. And
he can hang it out for a couple of months. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
And I just don't. It's what I don't understand is why it works so differently in. I suppose it's like all things, like when we have our election, the following day, the new government is in. That's it. I don't see why this doesn't happen elsewhere, because let's just say that could spark, just going by all counts of things. If it goes into official world war, then Mr. Biden doesn't have to leave office until potentially things are settled. So, what's going on, I don't know. But you know what? That's for another day.
Yes.
So, but Heidi's already beat me to it. So well done, Heidi. Thank you ever so much. We're all the way from good evening, guys. Congratulations, Paul. It is Paul's 3-year anniversary show. Woo! Woo! I suppose because I haven't never played this button for a long time. I suppose I should just play it, really, shouldn't I? I think I can play it. I haven't played it for a long time.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
Paul's show.
Happy birthday to you.
So yeah, well, 3 years. We spoke about this, didn't we? I don't know if we spoke about it after last week's show, or we did speak about we couldn't get the timings just right, could we? So we knew it was sort of coming up, so to speak. But I think I said about 2 years, didn't we? So
yeah, because I had to put something in my calendar at work, in my diary, and anniversaries, birthdays, things like that at the beginning of the year, always write in my diary. And as I opened up the page, I realised, wow, got on it 3 years on the radio show. Like, wow, that's flown by.
It has. It's gone by with an absolute blink of an eye.
Yeah.
What more do you want, eh? What more do you want, eh?
Oh, well, the other thing I thought of as well, Russ, when we met up on the ghost hunt the other week, I forgot to have a look at that footage.
I know. I actually thought about that in the car like 3 days later. It really frustrated me as well, because it was so like I've got it and I've just got it, and yeah, frustrating to say the least. But you will get to see the footage, I promise you. I've just got to get this. I'm so worried about how it's going to upload. This is my only problem with it, because I know it compresses the file, and I don't want it compressed. I don't need it compressed. So yeah, hopefully I can figure it out and let because I'm gonna. What I'm gonna do is, we all use this Canva and CapCut and all this sort of to edit. Now, to edit that, then I have to run it through another processor to upload it. It's gonna just downgrade the footage so quickly.
Yeah.
So I've got to try and figure out something to export it in the highest possible outcome, and then put it onto the the pages that doesn't compress as much as when you're doing it through different footages. And I have one, but I just don't know how to use it yet. I have got one, but how I use it is another question.
I know, it's a nightmare, isn't it?
It's just age. I swear to you, it is just age. The kids now will just go, done within like 20 seconds. And like me, it's like, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And how do they do this? And how do they do that? It's like, God.
Yeah. I think like I'm starting from scratch again with that CapCut because my daughter uses that. So I bought the Pro version, which you pay monthly for. But before I used the Adobe Premiere Pro, and now it's similar, very similar, but I can't remember how to use Premiere Pro, let alone now learn how to do CapCut.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm sorry, I've just lost you, Paul, but I think you're back. That's it. Pressing the wrong buttons, to be fair. Right, I have got a little bit of a planned show in my head. And well, it's because I think we've got to sort of address one of the biggest elephants in the room over the last week, with obviously the big Congress debate, isn't there?
Yes.
I think we can sort of touch on that, because it is really quite enlightening what they've been saying, isn't it? I don't know if you've been following it, Paul, or
yeah, I've seen quite a few bits on it. Yeah,
and one of the things that I think that we sort of need to talk about is they're now moving towards our oceans. That was the biggest key to it all for me. And do I believe that? Do I believe loosely? Let's just say I don't think these people that are talking to us are genuine. When I say genuine, I think what they're saying is purely genuine. But I think they've been selected people, knowing that this is what they're going to say. They've been well rehearsed. They never stuttered or nothing when they was talking. They never sort of, they was put on the spot with these questions, and their answers were absolutely spot on. And that's what sort of one of my things, one of my sort of in my head, it's like, you know what? I believe in everything you're telling me, but I don't believe any of you sitting there are genuine. Because if you are whistleblowers and you are telling me about they call them something different now, didn't they?
Yeah, it's not even UAPs, is it? It's something else.
The C ones were SFOs, FPAs or something like that. C flying objects or something like that. So, and I'm thinking, you know what? This is everything that me and you have spoke about over the last year, of like what is where they're hidden and what we are seeing. And that is where I was going with it, tonight. I think it's something that we can address in the actual particular of what do you feel we got out of it. Heidi was obviously watching it. Live. I sent you the live link, didn't I, on YouTube? So I was watching a little bit of it last week with the live links and everything. And it was very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, it makes, when you see people talking about it now, they're like, "Oh, so we've just had another disclosure with the Senate and this and that, and yes, we got the aliens are here, and yes, we believe they're in the waters. They've got civilizations in our oceans," and everyone's like, "Yeah, well, it's you've got everything else going on," and people. But I'm like, well. Yeah, we kind of knew that. I think for the likes of me and you and people listening, you're like, well, we pretty much suspected that anyway. And I still keep leaning, why now? Why everything now when it comes to that sort of thing? And when you watch some of these, I lean towards it every time, mate. Project Bluebeam. When you see some of these drone displays in China and that, and what they can do out there, you think, wow, it's like watching a movie in the sky with 10,000 drones. Yeah, I'm a bit like yourself, Russ. I do believe, because I don't think these people were the same people that joined Stephen Greer on his disclosure project either, were they? I
There
think
was,
they were.
I think there was. I know I'd see. I can't think of the gentleman's name. One of them you see all the time on loads of videos,
Yeah.
all the time. But I think there was one that was talking that I did think was with Stephen Greer, but I'm not 100% sure. You know where the face looks familiar, and you think, I think he was one of them that stood up and was talking with Stephen Greer in the past. But I'm not saying it was categorically that. But I just think it was all too well rehearsed for me. It was a good watch. It was a really good watch. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well rehearsed is they're going to have rehearsed what they had to say anyway. But like you say, it's the answering the questions. As you know, you're not just giving a speech; you're answering questions, and the answers were very good.
Well, the answer that got me was, and this it just felt very, very not political. That's the wrong word. I'd say he gave an answer. So there was a submarine, and they had this. Heidi's named it. It's a USOs. What does that stand for, Heidi? Please. Unidentified sea object.
Subterranean.
Yeah, something like that. Now, so we was talking with a captain of a submarine, and he was saying, and they asked him, "Do you think it was intelligent?" And he said, "No." He said it had an intelligence. Now,
when should I schedule it for?
Eh?
What should I set it for?
Could you try again? Hydrogen iodide is a diatomic molecule and hydrogen halide. Aqueous solutions of high are known as hydroiodic acid or hydroiodic acid, a strong acid. Do you want me to keep reading?
Yes.
Hydrogen iodide and hydroiodic acid are, however, different in that the former is a gas under standard conditions, whereas the other is an aqueous solution of the gas. They are interconvertible. High is used in organic and inorganic synthesis as one of the primary sources of iodine and as a reducing agent.
I generally do not know what is going on.
Where the hell did that come from?
I had no idea what has just been speaking to us. No idea. Jesus, O'Reilly. That if that ain't freaky on everything, if that isn't something listening in, then that is beyond strange.
Yeah, but why was it talking about that?
We'll have to listen back. Did everyone hear that? Everyone must have heard that because you was hearing it, Paul.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
At first, I thought it was my phone, but my phone is off.
Yeah.
Off. I have got my iPad next to me, but I've got to unlock it. That was weird. Hydrogen, iodine, something. That was odd. Welcome to Journey Through the Unexplained. Bloody unexplained tonight. Unidentified submerged object. Back on subject. So, and he give a real, like a real political or correct answer. No, I don't. I said I can't be sure. It had an intelligence, but I'm not sure it was intelligent. Well, to me, what's the difference? And I think someone asked that question to him, and he said, "Well, I don't know if they were firing at it. I don't think they were firing at it, but he said it's what it was doing. It was out moving us. So
it was anticipating their moves, wasn't it? That was
yes,
it.
Yeah, and like every time they went to go towards it, it would move away, and it had an intelligence, but they didn't know if it was intelligent. Now, to me, that's a very politically correct answer, because it's almost saying is that there was something there, but we're not ready to tell you exactly what it is at the moment.
See, I thought it was more along the lines of it was either like a biological intelligence or an artificial intelligence, like AI. So it would be like a droned vehicle rather than someone actually manning it or something.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I just took it the other way. My head, it's amazing how like heads go differently, isn't it? Like my head went totally different in the way of it. It was, you know, it was like they didn't want to say it was manned by an extraterrestrial being. That's how I took it. You know, that's how I took that comment. It was like, well, they're going to tell me there is something. There is something they're going to tell me, but they're not going to tell me what it is.
Yeah.
It really bugged me. What was that? You know that? What was it? I can't get my head out of it yet. I really
But
can't.
what started it off? Usually you've got trigger words, haven't you?
Well, yeah, because you have to say, there was nothing there when I, you know, that I didn't say anything like, I didn't say anything like, and I didn't say anything like, hey, Siri. So, what was that set off? Do you know what I mean? What was that set off? I don't even know if I can look back on what it was. I really don't. Really don't.
Bizarre.
Very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. But what did you think, guys? What did you think of it? Do you think anything come of it? Everybody in the chat, Heidi, Mickey, Marianne, anything come of what the disclosure report said? Because I think it was quite intriguing, because it was sort of just after the inaugural, obviously after the election. So is this sort of what they're planning for Mr. Donald Trump? Is this going to be a real sort of unveiling of things to come? Because obviously
It seems to be leading that way, doesn't it? It feels like it's leading that way.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big reveal. But then I think we kind of said the similar thing when Stephen Greer done his disclosure project.
But it almost feels like it's being batted away at this moment in time as well.
Yeah.
This disclosure stuff, which I think's great. I really do, because it's still, we're talking about credible witnesses according to what we're told. We're talking about military personnel of the United States. So, the American people will engross that, because that's what protects them. So that they've already bought into that. But I do think there's still not enough there just to give the people at the moment. Is it of extraterrestrial, or is it us? Like you've just said, they didn't give me enough rope. They didn't give me enough hook, line, and take me on a bite, if you know what I mean.
Nah. It was just admitting kind of what we already knew, wasn't it? And giving nothing else at the end of the day.
Yeah. But it was very rare. I say, did you watch any of it live? Did you catch any of it live?
No, I didn't know.
I couldn't quite grasp it, because obviously they had people sitting there at the top bench looking down, asking questions. And all of a sudden they would get up and just walk off. Midway through a question, they'd shake everyone's hand and go, and just sod off. And I thought, that's a bit weird. It's a bit weird that, they'd ask their question, Senator Jack Peterborough from wherever, you've got these questions, you've got 5 minutes, go. He'd finish his questions and just sod off. Just get up and walk out. Which is a bit odd. Heidi says it was to show the world it is now official signed papers and their statements that they are real. They can't be removed or hidden anymore. That makes a fair point.
Yeah.
Makes a fair point on that. It can't be hidden. I have to go along with that one, Heidi. I really do. It's there. I still don't think people will 100% believe it at this
Well,
moment.
you're always going to get your naysayers, aren't you? But I think it's a good step forward.
But this is going to really, if we're talking about our oceans, and this is where they, this was predominantly what this was built. All of the witness reports that and these people talking about, they were all talking about Navy and these oceans. And I found it really interesting because I do believe that's where they are.
Yeah.
I do believe that's where they are. And I will link it on to another thing. I will get the name of the program though before. I've been watching something on Netflix with George Knapp. Is it George Knapp? I think it is. Someone will correct me. Let me just get the name of the program quickly, because you all need to watch it. You all need to watch it, and because it is really good. Investigation Alien. Okay, it's called Investigation Alien. It's on Netflix. Okay, and I would advise anybody to watch it. Okay, it's a bit slow and it's a little bit. Once again, I have my doubts, but it's all based once again on CCC. Oceans, oceans, oceans. And are we now going down a route? No. Many still need to be convinced, but they need to experience it. Exactly, Heidi. I couldn't agree more with that comment, to be fair. And the more that this is leading at the moment, it does feel like they're going to push this and push this. And I do generally feel that we could be experiencing something like Atlantis, the world of Atlantis that is supposed to be flooded, or some people say it was hidden, wasn't it, by the seas. Some people say it's still there. We have touched on it loosely, haven't we, Atlantis, with certain satellite images of certain areas within the world that potentially could be Atlantis. But my feel says that this is really, really big. This movement with the oceans, the seas, are really, really big at the moment. And the three main, and the only one that I've had a few experiences with UFOs or extraterrestrials, and some have been obviously through others. So we talk about Simon's UFO capture. We talk about our live capture of the one when we was on Coalhouse Fault. Now, once again, we are right on the river. We're right on that river. Both were captured, one in Canby Island, one on the river. The experiences that we've had regarding UFOs in Rendlesham, not far from the river. You're not where the lighthouse would have been seen. One of the theories of Rendlesham was it was a lighthouse that could be seen. So we're based on a river. When I talk about my experiences with UFOs in Wales, when I met them creatures, what were they looking for? Water.
Well, oh yeah.
So to me, the only ones I can't fit just at this moment in time is the ones in Cannock. I can't put water near Cannock. Can't. I just can't. It's not. It's in mainland. it's not on a river. It's not on a major river, or anywhere near a river, or like the Thames, or on a major.
Yeah, but don't forget, and a lot of the country and a lot of wooded areas, they've all got like a hell of a lot of groundwater and underwater lakes,
Yeah.
cave systems. There's nothing to say it's got to be out in the open water, is there?
No, I just couldn't link it. When I'm sitting there, and like you sit there and you listen to these people talking, and you think, yeah, yeah, it's water. I've been here, I've been there, I've seen it here, I've seen it there. When Christina saw the object in the sky in Zante, it was over the ocean. I don't know what that stretch of the ocean would be. I don't know what ocean it is, but it was over the ocean. And everything I can fit is all around water or ocean or rivers. And I truly believe that now. I truly believe that the keys to our extraterrestrial hidden meanings are ocean bound.
So it does kind of make sense, because when you look back in history, I mean, you got World War II, where you had the Nazis and Navy. I think it was in Antarctica, wasn't it? They had an armada of ships that were attacked supposedly by UFO crafts that come out of the water. And don't forget, NASA first started in the ocean. And one day they just turned their gaze to the skies and went for space. Now, they keep saying the red lines in NASA's the full ton of the snake, the serpent, the deceiver. Now, what great a way to because they've admitted everything CGI that they put out anyway. So while everyone's eyes are up there, you're not looking at the true thing that's right. I mean, where is it saying that still only 5% of our oceans have been explored? Well, apparently we've explored more space than we have our own oceans. So what a great way to deflect people's gaze.
But this is what my whole I'll throw a few things out there. Okay, I'm going to throw a few things out here that you talk about that film. What was that film, Paul? Don't Look Up, or Don't Look Down, or what was it?
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up. Okay. Now, for me, when I'm looking at all this sort of bits going on, that to me says, don't look up. It's almost like a double-edged thing. Don't look up. Whatever you do, don't look up. It's like, don't press that red button.
You're looking in the wrong place.
So everyone's going to naturally look up because you're being told not to look up. Once again, like you've just said, why do they not want us to look up? Well, they do want us to look up, so don't tell us to look up, because that goes against everything, because then we don't look down, because everyone's looking up. Everyone's looking up. And, when we talk about the big exposure through COVID of all these people seeing extraterrestrial UAPs, UFOs in the sky, now, is that what they wanted us to do so they could move things around? We've had some really weird weather over the last week. Not last week, the week before, we had 5 or 6 days of that gloom.
Oh yeah.
But did you know that was a thing? Did you know that was a thing?
What do you mean a thing?
No, I did. I'm going to go off track. Sorry. What was the grey weather called in the UK? Go. Allow. Right, here it is. I'm not even gonna try to put, well, I will have to try. And it was called anticyclonic gloom. I think I'm saying that right. The weatherman called it, or weather persons, or whatever you want to say, called it anticyclonic gloom. the reason behind the grey skies were set to return. And obviously the days after, the anthem was brought by grey weather to the UK, set to finally subside with the sunshine making a welcome return when it come back. Yeah. And it was something to do with the high pressure system. So did you know this, that grey weather that we, and it was what, 5 to 7 days to a week, 5 to 7 days
Yeah,
a week.
it felt like it was a whole month.
It just had, and within that anti-cyclonic gloom, you have no wind, no rain, no sun. What was they hiding in our skies at that point?
Yeah.
What was they covering up over the UK at that point? What was being pushed into position? And then you think that sun come out. One night I remember looking out and thinking, oh my God, I can see stars. I haven't seen stars for a week. And I walked upstairs and I said to my family, going to have weather tomorrow, you're going to see the sun come out, lovely, nice and sort of mild, to say the least. But it was an absolutely, because of high pressure support, light wind and clear sky, the fog is a period of stubborn to clear, which leads to daytime mist and sky nut, which, do you know what it's called? Why is it called that? Traditionally one of the wettest periods of the year, it was near on threatens drought conditions in November. And that's why I writ that down somewhere to talk about it. And that's what it is. And this is what I'm saying, that we had, I don't know if you got it the other day, but we had quite heavy snow from where I was working.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen snowflakes like that.
No, huge, weren't they?
I'm talking about this sort of size snowflakes coming out the sky. We would have been sodded if that was, if that was dry. That would have come to an absolute standstill.
Yeah.
But no, I've gone off topic, I know, but it's what I'm saying is there's been we've got this weather system that come in. Were they moving things about up there? Were they, I hate to say it, were they putting a new sun bulb in? Were they putting a new moon bulb in? Were they making, the dome that we sit beyond, packing it up that we can't see? It just, I've never known. We're used to that in the UK. I know it sounds weird. We're used to the grey weather. We're used to it raining, but this was odd because everyone was talking about it. But there was no wind, no rain, no sunlight. That's how this anti-cyclonic gloom worked. So to me, they were hiding something up in the skies, moving something in.
I heard a lot of people moaning about it and saying how long it had lasted, but that's the first I heard it being called that.
And do you know how I heard it was? How I heard about it? It was on Talk Sport.
Huh.
I was listening to I don't know what it must have been. It must have been a game I was listening to, the commentary, and the commentator said, "Well, this anti-cyclonic gloom that's sitting over the UK is causing some right old." I'm like, what has he called it? So I come home and I had to Google it, and it was all on all the news pages and everything, just out of nowhere. It's, we're used to that in the UK. We're used to this gloom. Okay, we're probably not used to it for long periods like that.
No.
But it did go on, and it was weird because, no wind, and the more I look at it, and you think, well, it was weird. There was just nothing. The leaves never dropped.
Getting used to bizarre weather now, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Heidi says she's got it's snowing here as well. Big fluffy snow crystals. They were huge, Heidi. I'd never seen them. I was gobsmacked. She looked at it and just thought, it's like someone's just emptying a bag of like cotton wool out. It was really weird. But we had torrential rain before then, so it was never going to settle. but no, and that's I don't know how I got onto the topic of that, but I was talking about the seas, weren't I?
You started looking up. That was it, because you said about the film, don't look up, wasn't it?
Don't look up, and I looked it up. I think they're pushing us away from the seas just at the minute. And I've been watching, obviously, this Alien on Netflix. Everyone, please go out and watch it, because I need you to sort of back me up on it. But I've made some notes on it. I was watching it, and I was laying in bed the other night watching it, and I thought I've got to make notes on this because of the what they were saying. Okay, so it's in Tampico, Mexico. The place is called Tampico. I think that's Tampico. Tampico. Okay, Tampico. Now this is in the line of hurricane season and everything like that, but it's never been hit by a hurricane. Never.
Wow.
Never been hit by a hurricane. It's got a certain magnet, like it's magnetic in the water. Okay, so it's been tested. The locals believe that there could be an underwater base there. And every time a hurricane is near or close to this Tampico, if I'm saying it right, they believe there is some form of force field around it. But the scientists have said is what happens is the water turns on itself. So the tide pushes the hurricane away. There's something that happens within a certain thing, and the water changes its, and it can push the weather at bay. Okay, and some of the footage and the people over there, they're quite willingly to talk about it, and they're not. And there's loads of footage of like they look to me, because you can't see, because it's at night, you can't put it in context of how it is. But if you could imagine like a line of the sea, and all of a sudden loads of little white lights come up out of the sea, and they move, then they come back down again into the sea. There's been there was a interview done with a fisherman where he was fishing. He put his hook down and he caught something, and then he looked around and there was just a ring of light around him, a ring. And like this, the George Knapp, I think his name is, was interviewing him and saying, could it have been a submarine coming up? He said, no, submarines are long and thin.
Yeah.
This was a cylindrical circle, and he said it was something probably like 40 foot by 40 foot circumference, and he had to cut the line and drive off. And when he looked back, this thing lifted up the water and went back down again.
I mean, you'd never get out in the sea again, would you? After that?
Well, they took him. They took him. I'm up to the bit now where they've taken divers back to something island, the Channel Islands. But I didn't think the Channel Islands were over there. I thought the Channel Islands were near us.
Yeah.
I think they're called the Channel Islands as well. It looked like something out of Lord of the Rings, just like hilltops in the mountain on a sea. And they're just gone there, and they're going to take divers down because they were doing sonar, and they found some sort of unparticular things where they're going to dive down and see what it is. And that bloke who witnessed the rings taking him back there, and he said, it hasn't scared me. He said it's made me feel uneasy, but it didn't harm him. until it harms him, he said it wasn't going to be worried. Then they did another interview with this other woman or man. I can't remember if it was male or female who did the interview. I think it was female, to be fair. And she had video footage on her boat at night. And no, it wasn't. It wasn't on a boat. It was on a camera. And she filmed it coming out of a light under the water, like a ball of light. And she filmed it, but she left the camera there because it disappeared. And when she went away, it come back to investigate. The light come out of the water to the top of the water and looked like that and went back under the water and went away after they left.
Yeah.
So, like they were saying, it had an intelligence.
Yeah.
It was freaky. It was freaky because it looked like, was it the Flight of the Navigator? And the eyeball.
Yeah.
Or, you know, in Star Wars where CP3O knocks on Jabba the Hutt's door and the eyeball comes out of the door. That sort of thing. It was round. You could see it was round. But it was under the water. It was under the water. And she said, we walked away. We walked away from it, but we left the camera there to see if we could catch it again. And she said about 3 or 4 hours later, this thing come back to see what was happening. And then it's Tampico, however you say it.
I'll have to have a watch of that.
It's really, really interesting, and it's all about water, underwater. Let's see if I can get any sort of write up about it, because I only was writing quick notes. UFO sightings. Let's have a look.
It was like that other fella, though, wasn't it? Wasn't he in the North Sea, though, who said he kept hearing mermaids?
Yes, they spoke about that.
Yeah, he disappeared as well, didn't he? No one's really heard from him for a while. Because he kept getting FBI and that on his boat, didn't he? Or something along them lines. They kept seizing his boat, rummaging through it, checking everything, taking his phone. I remember him posting about that. Yeah, he seems to have disappeared.
But it's this George Knapp again, though. I've heard sort of a lot about George Knapp, but I've never really looked into him. Right, let's have a listen. I'm going to just read a bit of. I'm just going to read it from a inside the Mexican city that is believed it's protected by aliens. Mamara Beach, Tamaulipas. A tropical storm Carl formed just a few hundred miles from the coastal cities of Mexico and Tampico last month. Francisca Garcia, a 71-year-old local, wasn't worried when she saw the news. I immediately said, there's aliens are going to protect us. And this is what I believe and trust, that they exist, that their base is there. Local legend has it that an area of Mexico has been protected from hurricanes and other dangerous storms for over 50 years by extraterrestrials who monitor Earth from an underwater hidden base a few miles of Mamara Beach called Ampuque. And Garcia, like many others here, is a believer. While the rumours underwater aliens protectors are unproven, what's certain is Tropical Storm Carl took a sharp turn away from that part of the shoreline and connected further south on the Gulf of Mexico, causing floods in some places and leading to death. Extreme weather events continue to miss this city, feeding the legend of making Manduro and Tampico the alien culture of Mexico around the Marble Beach sectly. A legend of Ampuca has become an important driver of the economy and for principal reasons some of the tourists flock to the area. Restaurants named after Martians, souvenir stands, T-shirts saying flying saucers are boasting. When Garcia was growing up, when Garcia was a girl growing up in southern trips to the border states, she lived through major hurricanes and laid waste to both cities in 1955 and 66. But the hurricane suddenly stopped, ravaging her part of Mexico after the mysterious event that changed her life. Garcia said that her friends both saw several flying objects in a formation in the sky one evening in 1967. She told her family afterwards about it, who downplayed it and suggested they were just aeroplanes. But they could not be planes because of how they manifested and even the formation. Planes don't do that. They were slow and there was lots of them. But while her family didn't believe she saw the odd flying object in unit, many others did. The next day, on the 7th of August, 1967, the locals of Tampuka newspaper run the story with the headlines, "Flying Saucers over Tampuka." The article claimed thousands of inhabitants witnessed the aerial phenomena and quoted that local airport control towers who saw counted 9 unidentified flying objects. They came from over there, apparently heading to the sea, said Garcia, pointing from the direction of Tampuka to Madeira, over the water of Marmara Beach. Garcia was attending an event at the beach called El Dente on October 25th, an unofficial holiday in the state named after the Spanish acronym of Octobio Vodo. Why do they give me hard words? Unidentified flying objects. She was dressed in a tie-dyed shirt with flying saucers word believe in front of her. Her adult daughter accompanied her wearing the same shaped alien heads. I'm just trying to filter out anything. While Lupus claims that astral may travel seems to be non-believers, the study of it's just really strange place.
I don't think I've heard of it before. I probably have, but it's one of them that...
Paul, I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of it either. But I was just sitting there, like you can watch these programs, but you can do other things while watching them. I don't know if you do that, like me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting there, I've got a couple of emails to write, I've got it on, I'm just listening to what's being said. But all of a sudden, I just had to down my iPad. I was in the middle of doing something. I put my iPad down, placed it next to me, and I just was engrossed by it. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to make notes of this. And I'd say, if you saw my notes, look, I was just scribbling it. Underwater base, George Knapp. What was they talking about? So it was just consistently just in, out. And I was so engrossed with it. I was like, normally I would just turn it off, but I couldn't turn it off. I got to the end of the actual hour show. I thought, I can't go to the next one. It's too late. And I haven't managed to get to the next one. And I watched it a couple of days ago. But it's really interesting. It's really engrossing, if that makes sense. But, the first couple, it's like, you can just get all, just and listen to it. It's your normal stuff. It's your normal sort of UFO stuff and whistle blowing. And
is it different locations every episode? Is it?
Yes, yeah. But I don't quite know if it is all along that Mexican. As I say, I put it on, not expecting it. I put it on just for light listening while I'm doing other things. So the first episodes could have been linked to the Gulf of Mexico, by all means. But I just heard when they was going to Tampuka and what they were saying about it, how it's protected, how it's sort of no hurricanes, how it took a dynamic turn and no one could work out. But the scientists said it was something to do with the ocean turning its current that pushed it away and things like that. So we're never going to know. But
No.
the evidence being there, the evidence being witnessed by so many people, and yeah, these people are not. How do I put it in a way? There's been many cases in the UK and around the world where they say a lot of people witness this, a lot of people witnessing modern day. We're not talking about old day, we're talking about modern day. And sometimes I don't believe it. Sometimes I go down, I like the cases that are quiet. I like the cases that don't have too much field behind it. But I also like the cases that would fit with my way of thinking.
Yeah.
Now, my way of thinking is quite simple, I think. I don't think it's overthinking anything. I just think it's natural. If I looked out my window and I saw something in the sky flying around at high speed, looking at this, looking at that, knowing it's a UFO, and then I see other people down and seeing the same thing, I'm grabbing my phone. I'm grabbing it and I'm recording it. When I hear of modern day footage and I see it, like this Tampuka one, there was lots of people doing the same thing. There was lots of people that have picked up their phones straight away and they're videoing it. I'm thinking, good. That's how I think. That's a natural way of thinking.
Yeah.
Doesn't care what time of night it is. It's a natural way of thinking. But then you watch some shows and you think, oh, the whole neighbourhood was watching this. Where's your video footage?
Yeah.
Didn't get it. What? You're living in the 21st century. It's 2016. You haven't got no video footage. You didn't think to film it. And you
That's
just
the honest, people film everything these days as well, don't they? It's the first thing they reach for.
That exactly that. In my head, it's exactly that. Why isn't, okay, we know it could be AI doctors. We know that. That's not, we're not saying it isn't. It could all be fake. We know that. But for a case nowadays, when people come out and said there was witnesses, 20 plus witnesses, I'd be expecting 15 cameras.
Yeah.
Minimum. And when we spoke about, remember the police raid thing in the shopping centre with the aliens walking down?
Yeah.
How many cameras did we see? One angle?
I've seen one leaked footage apparently, and this is where my head goes, because I mean, you can clearly see three tall sort of alien looking creatures, but the footage is so grainy. And this is where straight away it's either deliberately been done grainy to throw people off, or it's put out grainy to throw people off, because or it's doctored, because you can't get footage that grainy on today's technology. It's like when your phones first started getting cameras on there. I mean, first of all, you couldn't even video; it was just pictures, wasn't it? Then you could video, and it's that kind of graininess, that 1 megapixel or whatever it was. It was awful, and that's what you're seeing. And you're like, really, 2024?
But we're talking about all these cases, and you're absolutely spot on. We're talking about a thing this big, this big. Even if it's 20 seconds, 30 seconds, it's all you need. I don't care who you are, you're sticking your camera up. Even if you're running from an alien, I don't care. I still think you're running with your phone behind you. And even, and this is what's good, what's what I find with the Tampuka one, these people did get their cameras out. They all got their cameras out. There was multiple witnesses doing the same thing. And then that's what made me think of obviously the one in the States. We had apparently every police car called to that area,
Yeah.
which is highly against the law, apparently, which I found out. But not one of them police officers decided to film it either. You're
Well,
telling me?
that was the sort of conspiracy about it, wasn't it? Because nothing had been released, even though it's supposed to be open and available to the public. All sort of body cameras, dash cams, and things like that, providing it's not, you know, like violence, and so it should all be released to the public. But I remember a lot of people that were there that apparently did have video and pictures said it was erased from their phones. Every bit of footage was just erased, as in someone got into all their technology, which it could easily happen. I think we far more than capable of doing that, but that's just the thing that I remember hearing at the time. I remember everyone saying, yeah, I videoed it, yeah, I took pictures. When I got my phone out to show people, it had all gone, it had all been erased.
Possibly. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, that's a good possibility. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that's a good possibility. But a lot of people is hard to do. So it's what there's in. So two ways of looking upon it, isn't there? You know, we look at these video footages of a lot of people where they're looking up in the sky, taking it over the seas and things like that. Why haven't they deleted that? But they're deleting the one by the you know, the where they've called all the police there. They've made a massive thing of it, and they've taken it away from everybody.
I've lost him.
Am I back?
That's it, you're back.
Oh, glitching. We've had things talking to us. Now glitching. But this is what I'm saying. I don't. Why take away one thing but keep another thing?
I think it'll all depend on the location and the circumstances behind it, didn't it? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming this thing in America that obviously wasn't meant to happen. There was stories about a portal opening up in the thing and these things coming out of it. So I mean, it could have all been a load of nonsense, but something weren't right with that.
No.
Definitely weren't right with it. But you know, going back to the phones, if you catch something on camera that you think you're never going to catch, what's the first thing you do? You don't just stop recording, run away, or whatever. The first thing you do is send it to someone.
Oh yeah,
isn't it?
Dave, with that amount of police presence there, I'd feel quite comfortable to stand there and film it from a distance.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be running unless I was, say, them green aliens were standing next to me, walking towards me down Lakeside. Yeah. But from the video footage I saw was quite at a distance, and as you said, it was grainy, and I'd be quite willing. You saw people around. You saw people around, and it was like, yeah. But was that extraterrestrial, or was it a bigger picture of what was they shifting around the corner? What was they doing?
Yeah.
What was they doing in another area? To remove all the police officers and put them in one area, what was that all about? Where were they taking them from? What was around the corner? That's what I'd be asking on that one. And that's why it was all deleted, I think, because obviously I just think it was a big cover-up of something else. That's how it made me feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, why send every police officer? It just don't make sense.
Yeah, that's a big show to put on to divert, I suppose, though, isn't it?
But what if you had to divert something? What more do you want?
Yeah.
What more do you want? But why send every? You'd have to keep a couple of coppers back, because if they had like their plasma guns that just killed everybody, they'd have no coppers, would they? You know, logic brain needs to kick in, though, doesn't it? At some point, if you was in charge of that police force, why would you send every police force there if you don't know what weapons they've got? I know it sounds silly, but that'd be how I would think. I'm not going to send everybody there, because what happens if they kill them all? I've got nobody. But they sent them all there. It was like they've got to all go there. It's a. I'm assuming it's something like a presidential order. All go there.
I can't remember if they had any black helicopters turn up. They would have done, wouldn't they? They must have done. If it was anything to do with that, you would have had helicopters turn up.
Oh, you would have thought.
I just can't remember for the life of me now. And I know we sort of done a show on it, didn't we?
Yeah. I'm assuming there was, if we're talking about all military presence, you're talking about everything, aren't you? You are talking about everything. But that's what I'm saying. You've got two different end of spectrums here, where we've got a UFO sighting with 10 people videoing it, all the same thing, different locations. But they've also you're telling us aliens are walking down a shopping centre of all places, but no one's got video footage of it.
Yeah.
I don't know who's telling me the truth. Do you know what I mean? Because my brain could go both ways. My brain could easily go both ways on that.
Yeah, we know what one wants to be true, but you can certainly see the other side of it.
Yeah, I'd like both of them to be true, to be all intents and purposes, but I don't quite know. Like this George Knapp. Do you know George Knapp? I think you're going to know who I'm talking
The
about.
name rings a bell. Yeah, I can't put a face to the name up.
I don't know if I can get a picture quickly for you. So that's George Knapp for who I see. Yeah, that's George Knapp. Now, he's another one. He's another one of these Stephen Greer people. These, we're talking about whistleblowers that are shut up. We talk about men in black coming round your doors, shutting you up. Yeah, for things that you've seen. We talk about people dying or getting shot or murdered because of what they potentially could do. We talk about, one of the conspiracies around JFK. That's why he was shot, because he was going to open the bag on, Area 51 and everything like that gets assassinated. Now, but we have these people in our public eye that will tell you everything. They've got TV shows. Yeah. They've got all these eyewitnesses on the phone to their, military personnel that you can't hear their voice, telling you this, telling you that. But they're still with us. They're still here. Bob Lazar, George Knapp, Stephen Greer, whatever the English bloke's name that I can't stand it as well. I think everyone hates him, but he's on everything, and he apparently part of the government, but was never a part of the government, so to speak.
Part of the DOD, wasn't he?
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can't think his name either. Now,
these so-called people that will tell you everything, like, yes, there's alien. Look, this is the evidence. We've got anecdotal evidence here. We've got whistleblowers. We've got this. We've got that. We've got everything that you need to know. We've got Bob Lazar that's saying, yeah, we've got this metal. We've got that metal. We've back-engineered all their this, that, and the other. And you're still here. You're still here. What makes them
makes sense,
so important? That's my question. What makes them so important?
See, I know Greer's been asked that question quite a few times. You know, are you not afraid with what you're doing? And I think it might have even been on Joe Rogan. He was saying, I am protected. I've got protection. I've got a group of people that protect me. And I think this is with a lot of people, if anything was to happen to me, the information I know will automatically get leaked to here, there, and everywhere. And so, I mean, that's a great way of sort of covering your tracks, even if they are for show. Then what else are you going to say?
That's what, but Heidi's put, because they are in the public all the time, they can't just remove them. The more you're in the public TV, radio, etc., they can't be removed.
Yeah.
You say that, though, Heidi. You say that, Heidi. You know, there's ways. You know, without accusing anything or anything like that. We talk about conspiracies of the world and conspiracies like that. We look at Princess Diana.
Plane crashes, helicopter crashes, car crashes.
Yeah, you know, Princess Diana being the biggest one of them all. You know, the accident in the tunnel. Was it an accident? Wasn't it? Who's to know? Do you know what I mean? If they want you gone, they're taking you out.
Mm.
And that's as simple as it gets in my eyes. I don't think that's the wrong word. I don't think they have that power. They want them gone, they want them gone.
Mm.
You know, we talk about all what's gone on over the, you know, what's the biggest one in this country? The news lady. What was her name?
Jill Dando.
Jill Dando. They reckon she was killed off, didn't they? Because of the you know, the whole, whatever it's paedophilic ring or whatever was,
Sex trafficking, I think it was.
Yeah,
She was about to expose. Yeah.
You know, so if they want you, they're gonna get you, and that's the big thing about it in my eyes.
So that was more of a message as well. That one, I think, wasn't it? Look what's going to happen if you decide to come up against us.
But that's the whole thing with
it. In your face, wasn't it?
But that's the whole thing. They've only got to do what to one of them, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've got to do it to one of them. You know, and it will all shut them up. Do you know what I mean? And it don't necessarily have to be the right tools or the wrong way of doing it. I think there's people out there all the time witnessing this and seeing it. And I think the bigger that you get your name out there, and that's, look, we're far from the people up the top. We're far, you know, we're 100 million leagues below the sea, so to speak, towards the top people up there. But if they was to sort of come out, you know, for example, they just pop Stephen Greer off just like that, I think a lot of these people would stand up and question that.
Mm.
I think they would. I think you would see a quite hush on it. But is it that one of them things that it's like, well, if it does come out, no one's going to believe you anyway, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It seems to have got to that. Even with all these disclosure things coming on, you've still got a huge group of people that are just like, oh, what a load of nonsense.
Yeah. That's how it feels like it is to me.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Sometimes it feels like it is. It's just like, you know, what they're saying is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Just let them have it, because let the people who don't believe, you know, fuel our fire, so to speak.
But then even on social media and things like that, you see a lot. I always, if I see a half interesting video, then I'll start reading the comments to see what people make of it and things like that.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that go along with the way I think, in the way that sometimes all they comment is Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam. You know, is gearing up, is getting people ready for the big reveal. But is that reveal going to be authentic?
Well, it feels like it.
Mm.
Feels like it's going to be very authentic at this
But
moment.
I still 100% believe that even if I see something now, there will be something in my head questioning it. As much as I'd love to see it with my own eyes, clear as day, there will be a part of me that's like, now, is this real? Or is this the powers that be trying to make it look real?
I think you have to go with your gut.
Mm.
I think you really have to go with your intuition on that one. I really have to go with, I think you have to take out logic brain and think about what am I actually seeing, because the things that I've seen and witnessed, it's like so minuscule, you don't think other people would see it. Or if they did see it, it's not going to be, it's different if you see something like Independence Day coming through the clouds and everybody's seeing it, then you just think, right, now what am I dealing with? Am I dealing with UFOs here? Or am I dealing with Project Bluebeam?
Yeah.
But I think when you see, like, I don't think I've seen anything in the context of mass hysteria that I could question it's Project Bluebeam.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Does that,
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
because
Yeah,
I'm seeing little,
not at the moment, no.
what I'm seeing, my personal experiences, I could be the only one there seeing it.
Mm.
When I look up in the sky and you see that odd thing in the sky moving, there was one the other night, and I was walking. Actually, it was the other morning when it was a real crystal clear morning, and I was watching a plane come into land, because where I work, you can follow the planes along. You probably see it as well. They come down the estuary, don't they?
Yeah.
On the flight path. And it was early morning, so it was still very dark. And I watched this plane come in, and I just thought, that's a bit odd. Why is there a couple of lights that don't seem right on it? And when I actually stood there and watched it a little bit longer, the two lights just disappeared. So it just went zoop away. And I thought, once again, I did question myself. I'm thinking, they were fast. What have I just seen? And I'm just thinking, at that moment in time, I don't think I would have been. Yes, I probably may have been one of 20 people seeing it. If it was a spaceship that was coming into land with it and everybody was seeing it, then I would go to Bluebeam. But the tiny little things, that them off little set things of lights, or the little UAPs that you see in the sky, and you think, okay, is it me? Is it me? Is it me? I think they're the ones that you pay attention to, in my eyes, in just how I feel.
Yeah. But again, it could be that slow gear up. Like you say, all it takes is a witness, someone to witness it, and hopefully record it, put it out there. You've got so many little independent, just similar things to that. Look at this, something next to the plane, it's gone. And but it gets it out there, and it gets people talking about it, so it gets people looking up.
Yeah, it's
waiting
hard.
for that. Wow,
it is a hard one, and I do get it. I do follow that. I do get it why we would question it. 100% why we would question it. Because I say I feel like I'm on the same sort of wavelength with Bluebeam. Totally, I do think it gears up for that. But I think there is also sometimes I look at it and think, yeah, okay, right, okay, that I think I might be the only one that's seen that. Or do you get what I'm saying? I don't think it's necessarily all aimed at.
Oh no, yeah, no, 100%. I know, I know where you're coming from. Definitely. That even myself when I was on holiday and I sent you that,
Yeah,
what I captured. But then again, am I just? So I didn't even think of that. Yes, to me, it was only me that saw it. But the first thing I'd done was grab my phone and filmed it and then sent it on to someone else.
exactly that. That's natural. That's such a natural thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I look at these when I see things online or I see something I like look into. The first thing I go to is where is the evidence?
Mm.
You know, if I've got 12 different camera angles of the same thing, then I'm interested. Then I'm interested because that means people are seeing it from different angles, all here, all there. It's just like the police one. I'm sorry, how have we not got footage of that? How?
Mm. Yeah.
It must be out there. Yeah, I know they can block it, and I know that they can block it off of social media, but we have a thing called a dark web, apparently. You know, does that exist? Who knows? Who knows?
They can track and trace anything if they really wanted to. That I'm a strong believer of. You've only got to look at COVID. Anyone that was going against the narrative, bosh, they were there straight away. Yet, you know, violence, murder, rapists, paedophiles, they don't seem to look into that side of it.
No. 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 It's crazy to think that, though, isn't it?
Mm.
It's crazy.
But it also shows you they can find, yeah, if they really want to.
Yeah. But I think it's got to be a mass of you. One person I don't think they're interested in. A mass of you. Like, you know, like that police, the police one.
Yeah.
There's a mass of them.
Again, prime example. If like even if no aliens were included in that, and it was just kids with sticks, where's all the footage of that? Either way, there's no footage. Full stop.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
who knows what actually went on? Who knows? But that's what I'm saying. You know, when I come to look at these, when you know, Paul sends me look at this, look at that, or Joe sends me look at this, look at that. I always tend to look at the overall picture. I want more people to see it. More people to see it gives it credence in my eyes. Where's the evidence? What are they doing? If you haven't picked up your phone, why haven't you picked up your phone? Why? Why? You've got one. Everyone's got a phone. Don't care who you are, you would naturally pick up your phone. Or if it was me, if I didn't have a phone, I would be ringing you. Paul, look at the window. What's going on? Can you see that? Can you see that? You would be filtering it down the line somewhere.
really,
You know, 9 times out of 10, we've got our phones. We've got our iPads. Everything records. Everything records. So we've got CCTV footage. We've got Ring doorbells. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where is it? Yeah, just to think that is just, in my eyes, it's just crazy to think there's nothing there. Why can't we? Even if they have blocked it, someone must have it. Someone's got to have it. You can't just delete it. You know, we talk about everything that goes onto an iPhone. I talk about iPhone in particular, goes to a cloud. Every photo that I have goes to every single one of my computers. Every photo I take on my iPhone goes to my computer, my iPad.
Yeah.
It goes to multiple different locations. I know there must be, but who knows, eh? Who knows? Well, guys, we have come towards the end of the show. It has gone very quickly this week. Very quickly. It's over before it even gets started sometimes. And sometimes I start and think, oh, we got enough to talk about? We always go on rabbit holes. We always go down silly little things and go off topic. But no, it's been a nice show to talk about. I can't remember. Can you remember what your first show was, Paul? What we spoke about on your first show?
God. No, I genuinely can't.
So what year would it have been? 20?
21.
21. 21. 21. 20. And it would have been around this time, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So
I think it was actually the 14th.
I can't think what we spoke about. I can't find it. I've got the 18th of November, 21.
Oh, 18th. There you go.
Is that it? You joined me on show 49. To be fair, I've got no notes. You grew up. I've just put you grew up around it. So what we was talking about, God knows.
It was probably just my introduction or introducing myself, how I got into this and that, and
Probably that. I know the second show was Project Bluebeam. So
yeah.
back in the
25th, yeah. So we started on it.
25th of November 21, Project Bluebeam. So, and on the 2nd of December, we had a water update, whatever that was. God knows. So, thank you for everyone that has joined us tonight. It's been a pleasure. Oh, I've put my microphone away. No one can hear me, can I? Oops. Thank you for everyone that's joined us tonight. We'll be back next week. I don't know. Something's happening, I think, but I don't know what. I'll put a post out anyway, and I'll speak to Paul after the show, I think. Right, guys, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for everyone that's joined us over on Facebook tonight, YouTube. It's been a pleasure as always. Take care, stay safe, and see you soon.
Bye-bye.